And the next section we're going to be creating is going to be the skills section, right? So if we go and check it out over here, you can see that this is the skills section. This is what we're going to make, right? And all this we're going to make with only one CSS class. Everything else is going to be a Bootstrap. So if we go back over here, and I'm just going to make a comment, and I'm going to say section, right? And then I'm going to copy that. And over here, I'm just going to write that this is going to be end of section. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing our HTML elements, right? So over here, if I'm going to write that this is going to be a section, then I'm going to say this is going to have ID. And over here, I'm going to write this is going to be skills, right? And then over here for the whole section, I'm going to add some Bootstrap classes, right? First one is going to be background light, right? So if we used background dark, so this is going to be background light. And now I'm going to use again one of these Bootstrap classes, which is going to add the padding all around, right? So you can see that if I'm using padding, again, this is going to be all around, the same as how I'm putting margin all around, right? So over here, you can see that I'm using a bigger number, right? I'm not using 2, I'm using 5. So obviously what it means then this is going to be a larger padding, right? So if we start putting other elements, right? So over here, I'm going to say div. This is going to have class, and over here, it's going to be container class. And over here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place the title that we're going to use for the rest of the sections. I'm going to write title, and I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to say that this is going to be end of title, right? And again, we're going to create it once, and then we're actually going to reuse it, right? So we're going to say div, and over here, we're going to say class, and over here, we're going to say that this is going to be a row, and we're going to close this one out, and over here, we're going to be div class. This is going to be column 12, meaning that it's all the time going to span all across the screen, right? We're going to say this is text center, and this is going to have a margin bottom 3, right? But remember, this is going to be for the whole div, right? So all our 3 elements over here, this is what I'm creating over here, this margin. This is what that margin bottom 3 means, right? For the whole thing. So over here, we're going to close it out. And again, I'm going to write that this is going to have a heading 1. And I'm going to add this red text. So I'm going to write text danger. And over here, we're going to say this is going to be a skills section over here. And then we're going to create this div. That is going to be a text underline. Div class. And we're going to say text underline. This is the class we need to actually create ourselves. And for the underline, we're also going to make a margin, right? But we're going to make actually margin and on the top and on the bottom, right? But only vertically, right? So over here, I'm just creating this margin, right? Not to the left and right, actually, but to the top and bottom, right? But if I'm adding Y over here, it works to the top and to the bottom. Over here, I added just to the bottom, right? So when we have that, we're just going to close this div over here out. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a paragraph, and we're going to say that class, and over here we're going to say the text dark, right? So this is again going to be a Bootstrap class, right? The same as how we have a background dark, this is text dark. So over here lorem, and we're probably going to delete some of it because this is too long. So let's delete something like this, and we can probably go ahead and right away create that CSS. So we have right away this line, so I don't forget at the end, right? And this is going to be a row, and this is going to be the title that we're using, right? So if we go back to our main CSS, and let's say over here, and I'm going to create a class, and I'm going to say text underline over here, and I'm going to say that this is going to have few rules, right? First, I'm going to say this is going to be width, it's going to be 100 pixels. Then I'm going to say that this is going to have a border. And I'm going to say this is 1 pixel solid. This is going to be let's say I'm just right now going to come up with some kind of color, D2, I don't know, 8, 2. Right, so this is going to be kind of yellow. And the only thing we need to do is place it in the center. So I'm going to say margin, 0, auto, 0, auto, right? And we could have obviously written like this, right? That would do the same thing. Basically, it places in middle, right? So we can say the main CSS, and again, we're not going to be returning for this section back to the CSS. So now that we have the title, let's actually create our sections, right? And what we would want to do is start by creating another row. Over here, I'm going to say div class, and I'm going to say that this is going to be a row. And over here, we're going to place some columns. All right, so we're going to say this is going to be div class, and over here within this class, we're going to say that this is going to be a column. Over here, that's going to be on a small screen. It's going to be whole screen, right? From small. Then we're going to have a column, and over medium 4, and then we're going to have a text center class, right? This is going to place the center, and this is going to be a margin, and this is going to be top and margin for a whole column, and this is going to be over here this vertical one, right? And where we're going to see that on a smaller screens, this margin is going to create actually some little bit more space between the columns when they're stacked on top of each other, right? So now that we have this one, we can close this one out, and over here we're going to place our first font awesome right over here. We're going to say this is going to be class. We're going to write fa home over here, and then we're going to say that this is going to be a fa, and this is going to be 5 times bigger than it's normal. And again, we're going to give it a color, text danger. So over here also we would need to write area over here, hidden, and put it to true. Right, so now that we have this one, right, so we can see that we have our first icon, right? And you can see what I'm talking about over here. You can write C. This is going to be those margins, right? So if I delete this, right, you can see those margins disappear. So what's going to happen on smaller screens, these whole divs are going to be stacked on top of each other. And that's why we're putting over here this margin, right? Now that we have this, then it's time to move on to our heading 1. And we're going to write, this is going to be heading 1. And we're going to say that this is going to have class, right? And we're going to give it right away a margin all around of 1, right? And then we're going to say that this is going to be a home, right? And what happens is, again, this margin is what's all around the actual element, right? And this is, you can see we don't specifically say which side, we're just saying all around, right? So if it would be P, it would be padding all around, right? And over here, we're going to say this is going to be a paragraph. I'm going to say class, and we're going to say that this is going to be text muted, right? So this is going to create a little bit grayish. And over here again, we're going to be creating vertical margin, and we're going to say this is going to be 4, right? And over here, we're just going to place some lorem text, right? So this is going to be 1, and let's say 3, right? And then the last thing what we would want to do is actually create a link. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to create a link. And we're going to write that this is going to be href. And over here, we're going to say that this is going to have a hashtag. Then we're going to add the usual classes. This is going to be a button class, button, and button large right away. And what we want is actually create a button outline warning, right? So we want to create over here like this outline, right? So maybe instead of large, let's just write outline over here like this, and we're going to say outline. And now we would need to write the color, right? So if I'm writing a warning, then I'm going to be writing a yellow, and over here roll, and we can write that this is going to be button, and over here we can close it out. We can say learn more, right? So you can see that we're actually heading the right direction, right? And the only thing that's left actually here to do is check it out how big is this div. And over here what we need to do is actually paste it 1, 2, right? And here we're just going to create different font awesome, right, icons. Here we're going to create one of them is going to be bomb, and the other one is going to be I believe archive, right? So this is going to be a bomb, right? And we're going to write a bomb over here. And here we're going to create a archive, and we need to change this one to archive. Right, so now that we have this section, and like I said to you, we only used one CSS class, right? And now we have actually used, I believe, 3 together, so there's going to be only one that's going to be for the background. And we're actually ready to move on to next